Dear members of European Parliament, dear President Metsola, dear Roberta, thank you for your powerful words, for our friendship and for your incredible leadership. I always say that unconventional times need unconventional solutions. In last year, Roberta, we took such a step together. We signed a memorandum of cooperation between Belarusian democratic forces and the European Parliament. And it was a clear message to my people. Belarus is Europe. And one day we will take our rightful place in this chamber. I want to give thanks to the members of the delegation for Belarus, led by Małgorzata Gosiewska, and to Rapporteur Helmut Brandstauer. Thank you for working with democratic Belarus and not with illegitimate regime in Minsk. Just last week in Rome, we held a historic summit of the Interparliamentary Alliance for Democratic Belarus, hosted by the Italian Parliament. Deputies from 17 European countries signed the Rome Memorandum, showing that Belarus' fight for freedom is Europe's fight too. And I want to commend the European External Action Service, the European Commission, and the European Endowment for Democracy for your support for Belarusian media and civil society. Every euro spent on truth and resistance builds a shield against the spread of tyranny. And finally, I want to thank all your nations for welcoming Belarusians fleeing repressions, especially Poland and Lithuania, which have sheltered hundreds of thousands. And I want to congratulate Lithuanian friends who celebrate the Day of Restoration of Independence today. From your own history, you know the true value of solidarity when your homeland is under occupation. Ačiū, draugai. Esteemed members of the European Parliament, I want to thank each of you, not only for standing with Belarus and Ukraine, but also Georgia, Moldova, and Armenia. We all stand in the same zone of uncertainty, asking ourselves, who will stand with us for our freedom? Will our countries ever be safe and free? Or will we remain in the shadow of a giant, a force that does not respect us, does not recognize our sovereignty, and denies our place as free nations of Europe? Are we to be sacrificed, offered to the giant in the hope that giving him just us will make them stop? That he will take what he wants and go no further? But we know history. The hunger of the empire is never satisfied. Yes, we live in uncertain times, but uncertainty must not lead to hesitation. Who will defend Europe if not Europeans themselves? Must we always look across the Atlantic for protection? Or is it time to say, we will stand up for each other, for our freedom and yours, as the famous motto says? Dear friend, in such times, International Women's Day is not about celebration, it's about struggle. And today, many Belarusian women don't receive flowers, they receive prison sentences. They don't march in parades, they march into courtrooms. They don't enjoy the luxury of peace and democracy. They have to fight for it. And we fight. We fight not to be in the shadow of the revanchist Russian Empire, seeking to subjugate our nations and to erase everything that connects us to Europe, our language, our culture, our identity. We fight for our political prisoners, more than 1,200 behind bars, including 155 women, isolated, tortured, denied medical care, yet they refuse to give up. We fight for justice, so that every perpetrator of oppression, of torture and war crimes is held accountable, because justice delayed is justice denied. We fight for very values that define Europe: freedom, security, and prosperity. And Belarus is proof: without freedom, there is no security, and without security, there is no prosperity. And of course, we fight for Ukraine because our fates are intertwined. Without a free Ukraine, there will be no free Belarus. And without a free Belarus, there will be no lasting peace in Europe. And we fight against illusions. Putin and Lukashenko don't want peace. They want submission. Any lasting peace must be built on respect, yet Putin has shown none. Like a drunken neighbor, he acts aggressively whenever he doesn't get his way. And without a real shift in his ambitions, any peace will be just a pause, a brief reprieve for Belarus and Ukraine. And it may not stop there. Ask Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. They all wonder, if Ukraine falls, if Belarus disappears, are we next? There should be no next. That is why we also fight for Europe. Europe that doesn't give in to dictators and keeps them isolated, but not appeased. Because we know dictators will not stop until we stop them. And we can do it only together. Dear friends, free Belarus is only possible when Europe is strong and united. As you discuss rearming Europe, I urge you to see support for Belarus as an investment into your own security. Belarus is key to stopping Russia's advance in Europe. Without a free and independent Belarus, the threat of war will not end, not for Ukraine, not for Europe. As some allies pull back, I call on the European Union to step up. On one hand, increase assistance for Belarusian independent media, strengthen our resistance, show Belarusians a clear European perspective so they know what they are fighting for. On the other hand, intensify pressure on Lukashenko's regime. I urge you to see Belarus not only as a problem, but as an opportunity to make Europe safer. While isolating dictators, don't isolate our people. Provide visas, close borders for goods, not for passengers. We must not allow the dictators to build a new Iron Curtain and cement Russia's grip on Belarus for years to come. Of course, changes in Belarus is our task and duty, but to win, we need allies. And I came here to say, we need you, Europe, and we need each other. Let me assure you, we will not stop. Belarusians will not stop until every political prisoner is free, until every Russian soldier leaves our country, until we hold trials for crimes against humanity, until we take our country back. Yes, this fight is not easy, but thanks to you, to your passion, to your continued support, I know that Belarus and Ukraine will be free. And when that day comes, we will stand together in safe and peaceful Europe, free of war, free of tyranny, and free of fear. A Europe where borders are not redrawn by force, where nations choose their own future, where democracy always prevails, and where Belarus, Ukraine, and other nations are not in the shadow of the empire, but take our rightful place in the heart of Europe. Живи Беларусь! Слава Україні! Long live Europe!
Thank you, dear Sviatlana. I now pass the floor to Belarusian opposition activist and former political prisoner Palina Sharenda-Panasiuk.
Добрый день, поважанные сябры Европейского парламента. Мое имя Palina Sharenda-Panasiuk. Я представляю тут громадянскую кампанию «Европейская Беларусь», яка выступає за інтеграцію свободної Білорусі у Європу. Ось гэты сцяг – сімвол нашого змагання, сімвол нашої кампанії. За гэтыя сцягі мяне і моих сяброў збиваюць, кидаюць у турмы, подвергаюць жахлівым катаванням. Наша кампанія рыхтавала і рэвалюцыю 2020 году. За гэта я разам з нашымі сябрамі грамадзянскай кампаніі «Европейская Беларусь» была арыштаваная ў студзені 2021 году. 4 гады мяне трымалі як палітычнага закладніка рэжыму Лукашэнкі. Я прайшла праз пекла турмаў дыктатара, які ў нязменным выглядзе захаваў метады фізічнага і псіхічнага вынішчэння сталінскага гулагу. 4 гады поўнай ізаляцыі ад свету, ад дзяцей і родных. 4 гады адзіночных камераў, перасыльных вагонаў, 270 дзён гэтак званых штрафных ізалятараў, месцаў ізаляцыі і катаванняў. Але я вытрымала і выйшла на свабоду. Я выйшла на свабоду, у тым ліку і дзякуючы вашай прынцыповай пазіцыі. Спадары дэпутаты Еўрапейскага парламенту. Я вельмі ўдзячная асабіста прэзідэнту пані Роберце Мецола за ўсе тыя захады, што былі зробленыя дзеля майго вызвалення. Я таксама хачу падзякаваць усім, хто змагаўся за маё вызваленне сярод прысутных. Але дагэтуль у Беларусі ў закладніках тэрарыстычнага рэжыму знаходзяцца тысячы іншых палітвязняў. Сярод іх мае паплечнікі з Еўрапейскай Беларусі, Евген Афнагель, Максім Вінярскі, Андрей Войніч, Павел Юхневіч. Шмат аб кім з палітвязняў няма звестак ужо больш 2 год, як адным з лідараў беларускай нацыі Міколі Статкевічы. Невядома, ці ўвогуле жывы ён. Таксама катастрафічнае становішча ў жанчын палітзняволеных. Вікторыі Кульшы, Алены Гнаук, Вольгі Майоравай. Я вельмі трывожуся за іх жыццё. Шаноўнае спадарства, ужо 30 год у цэнтры Еўропы ля самай мяжы з развязам існуюць канцлагеры, дзе катуюць і забіваюць людзей толькі за іх імкненне да свабоды. Гэта недапушчальна, каб цывілізаваны свет мірыўся з фактам, што Беларусь працягвае знаходзіцца пад улады псіхічна хворага тэрарыста. Я выйшла на свабоду толькі дзякуючы ціску на гэты рэжым. Не верце хлуслівым заявам рэжыму і ягоных хаўруснікаў, што палітвязні выпускаюцца нібыта праз гуманізм. Не. З людзей катаваннямі выбіваюць прашэнне да Лукашэнкі аб памілаванні, прымушаюць здаваць пакаяльнае інтэрв'ю і падпісваць паперы аб супрацоўніцтве з КДБ. Людзей калечаць, шантажуюць, пагражаюць ціскам на сваякоў, забіраюць дзяцей і маёмасць. Сотні тысячаў беларусаў пад пагрозаю новых рэпрэсіяў вымушаны былі ўцякаць з краіны. Я заклікаю да ўзмацнення ціску, рэальнага ціску на гэты рэжым, не толькі праз увядзенне новых санкцыяў і дасканалага кантролю над іх ажыццяўленнем. Супраць рэжыму мусяць быць уведзены паўнавартасная блакада і гандлёвы эмбарга на падставе 33-го артыкулу статута Міжнароднай арганізацыі працы. Праз канцлагер пад назвай Беларусь не павінна быць ніякага транзіту тавараў, якія ідуць у Еўропу з Кітаю і іншых краін Усходу. Рэжым павінен стаць поўным ізгоем у палітычным, эканамічным і спартовым плане. Гэта рэальныя дзеянні, якія прымусяць рэжым выпусціць палітвязняў. І гэта будзе першы крок дзеля вызвалення ўсяго народу Беларусі. Без вольнай Беларусі існаванне свабоды і дэмакратыі ў Еўропе заўжды будзе пад пагрозаю, у тым ліку пад пагрозаю расійскай агрэсіі. Так само перемога в Україні не буде можливою і повною без свободної Білорусі. Опозиція Білорусі змагається супроти диктатури за свободну, незалежну і демократичну Білорусь. Ми змагаємося за ті коштовності, на яких заснований європейський зв'яз. У гэтай барацьбе нам патрэбная ваша дапамога у абароне наших агульных каштоўнасцяў. Вы можете дапамагчы нам вызваліць наших сябраў і наших лідараў, якія сёння знаходзяцца ў турмах. Вы можете дапамагчы Еўропе пазбавіцца ад злачынцаў, якія развязалі крывавую вайну супраць Украіну, Лукашенка і Пуціна. За нашу і вашу свабоду. Жыве Беларусь!
Thank you.
Now it's you, okay?
Thank you very much, dear Palina. I now pass the floor to Crimean Tatar and former political prisoner Leniie Umerova.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everyone. Madam President. My name is Leniie Umerova. I'm Ukrainian and Crimean Tatar activist. I spent nearly 2 years in Russian prison. In December 22, I was abducted by Russian security forces right at the border. I was trying to reach Crimea to visit my critically ill father. My only crime was that I'm Crimean Tatar. I'm Ukrainian, born in Crimea, and I refuse to take Russian passport. For Russia, that's enough to label me an enemy and throw me behind the bars. During these years, I endured immense injustice and cruelty, abduction, psychological and physical abuse, interrogation, solitary confinement. Most of the time, I was held in complete isolation. But you know what? I'm Crimean Tatar, and these are not the first repression in my family history. In 1944, my grandmother was just 10 years old when she became a victim of Soviet deportation. Her entire family, like hundreds of thousands of Crimean Tatars, mostly women and children, as the men were at war, was declared a traitor of motherland. They were given 20 minutes to pack. They were forced into the cattle wagons and deported to Uzbekistan. Two of my grandmother's younger brothers, 3 years old Kadir Ilyas and 6 years old Nazim, died of starvation. This is not only my family tragedy. This is the pain of every Crimean Tatar family. Many countries have already recognized the 1944 deportation as the act of genocide against Crimean Tatar people, because history must be called by its true name. But history is relating itself. Once again, Russia is trying to destroy us. Once again, it erases identities, rewritten borders, and crushed lives. In the occupied territories, Russia depressured every ordinary civilians. They are abused, forcibly deported, subjected to forced labor. Any act of defiance, even silent, is treated as a crime. The punishment is prison. Let me share the stories of several women I personally know. Oksana from Kherson region. Before she was sent to a detention center, she was held for 6 months with a bag over the head. One day she was brought to a pit and they told her, "We will do it to alive her. No one will know where you are." Yana from Zaporizhia region. She was tortured, her jaw was broken, several teeth knocked out, and then she was denied all medical care. Helena Dohopola from Crimea, a 70-year-old pensioner. Russia forced beat her, tortured her, and tried to break her fingers. Irina Dohopola, a Crimean journalist. She survived tortured. Today she is denied medical help in prison. She has lost hearing in the ear, suffered a mini stroke. Half her body is numb. She lived in constant pain with severe headaches and heart problems. This is just few stories. There are thousands more. Around 14,000 Ukrainian civilians are currently held in Russian prison. In prison, I constantly hear the same phrase: "Your Ukraine was very little time left." But I'm here, and Ukraine continues to fight. Even in the face of Ukrainians continue to fight, even in the face of devastating news. We are fighting for freedom, for dignity, for every human life. And we are not facing Russia alone. Russia is supported by Belarus, Iran, China, and North Korea. Authoritarian regimes have united against democracy. This is more than a war for territory. This is the battle between light and darkness, between freedom and slavery, between democracy and tyranny. And Ukraine is still fighting. And we fighting for the win. But just imagine, what if Ukrainians fall? Who will be next? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear Leniie, thank you very, very much. I now pass the floor to Ukrainian frontline medical volunteer and humanitarian activist Tata Kepler.
Hello. Hello. I'd like to start, please, with a moment of silence in the memory of all Ukrainian women and men that were killed by Russia during this war, please. Thank you. So, my name is Tata Kepler, and I'm a volunteer And I deal with military medicine, with the tactical medicine supplies, and when the full-scale invasion started, I joined the unit which was organized by Patrol Police of Ukraine. And due to that, I visited with my team more than 700 occupied territories, gray zones, all over the front line. And we were helping to civilian people with the medicine and a lot of different stuff. And I had one project that I talk a little about it in order to be respectful to survivors. But today, I'll tell you something about it. It's called Silent Project. And it's targeted directly to support raped families. So we helped everyone with everything being asked for, from restoring houses to buying clothes and other necessary things. And my oldest case in this project was a 75-year-old woman that was raped by Russian soldiers. And my youngest case was 4. She was a 4-year-old girl. So I met her in her occupied village. And she was, really nice and beautiful and so cute and so sweet. And she was raped by Russian soldiers, not one. When they came to her village, and she did not understand what happened to her and why, as she said, those people were so bad to her. So the family was poor, and I was asked to insulate her home and to buy some warm clothes. And my friend and I went to the store, and we walked between the rows with all those bright children's things, and I saw a gray warm overalls on a pink rubber bands. And I said, "Oh, how nice, how beautiful, she will definitely love this. Let's buy this." And my friend took this one from the hanger and silently turned to me. On the reverse side of its knees, there was written, "Stay safe, always." And I did not cry. No, I howled. I was screaming. I was standing in the middle of that huge store holding this tiny jumpsuit, and I was howled because I realized that I won't be able to keep her safe anymore, and never. And I understood that I'm still standing there in the middle of the store with the small gray overalls in my hands. And I'm still remain forever in Bucha, standing over the people shot point blank, because I saw them. And I'll be forever holding the hands of a girl from Bucha. Her name was Yulia, and she was grasping me and shouting, "Help me, please help me. My husband and my brother were killed in the basement, and their bodies are mine, and people don't let me in, so please help me. Tata, help me." But I couldn't. And I stand again and again in a small village in Kurakhova in Donetsk district.
and pursued the grandmother Zoya to go with us. We said that we can help to save her life. But she refused because it was her only home there. I'm also there, waiting for my friends to return from captivity, listening to the stories of survivors, and I'm still there. I'm hugging my pharmacist, Anya, who has been waiting for the body of her husband for more than a year to be transported home and to be buried. And I'm here in the stabilization point, looking at the doctors are bringing back young wounded soldiers from the dead, and I'm still there carrying flowers with black ribbons to the graves of my friends who are now and forever 20, 25, 30, 40. They freeze in time, as in my memory, forever. And I'm telling you that because I want you to know that my country and I, like every other citizen, we will never return from this war. Unfortunately, we can come home, we can come back, but we will never return. This will stay with us forever, with me, with my friends, with all the citizens of Ukraine, and with this 4-year-old girl. And we have to talk about the woman that's fighting for democracy. And it's really very important topic, but today, all women and men in my country are forced to fight for survival. Today, more than 130,000 of women of Ukraine serve in various institutions of the security and defense sector. It's a huge number. I believe that it's the biggest in Europe. Today, tens of thousands of women, mothers, sisters, and daughters are waiting for their relatives to return from Russian captivity. And tens of thousands of women will never see their beloved again because they were killed by Russia. And these numbers are terrible, and they should scare you, because this is reality that happens not somewhere far away, but here in Europe. Here and now, the genocide of Ukrainian people are spreading before your eyes, and it's true. And I ask you to stop tolerating it by silence. Today, more than 1,300,000 of Ukrainian children, again, 1,300,000 of Ukrainian children are in the occupied territories. And one more terrible number, according to Russia itself, 744,000 Ukrainian children were exported from Ukraine, and that means kidnapped. 744,000, it's a terrible number. 2,387 children were injured and killed, and this is the number that we know, because there are a lot of numbers that we don't know. What I see the large-scale international violence unfolds in front of you, and we cannot stop it just being concerned. I really asking you to name names, because it's really important. The things that's going on in Ukraine right now, this war, it's really terrible war. I understand that you here in Europe, you see the news and you think that you understand us. But I'm telling you all these stories because I want you to try to imagine, just for a moment, this hell, personal hell of every Ukrainian citizen. Grammatically, Ukraine is a feminine word. And we bombed, they tried to annex us and to destroy. And with all this hell, you know, anyway, I'm so proud to be Ukrainian. I'm so proud that I was born and that I live in Ukraine. Ukraine is a country of courage. Слава Україні, слава українським героям і слава українським героїням. Thank you.
Thank you all for your decisive and powerful words. They will resonate in this chamber long after this event is over. Thank you to our honored guests for joining us and sharing your experiences with us today. This House stands with you because Europe is on the side of democracy, everywhere, every time. Thank you all.